Right, welcome back to the podcast, episode 21, and we've got another guest with us again this week. We've got two people with us. We've got Logan and we've got Paul, who are based up in my neck of the woods, up in the northeast, and these guys are from Heart and Soul Racing. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Not at all. How's things with you both? I guess you'll be new to our audience here on the RCC podcast, so I guess if you didn't mind just giving us a quick intro and tell us a bit about you both and well, your involvement with running, I guess.
Yeah, no, sure, yeah. So my name's Paul. I got into running probably in my late 20s, as my father-in-law introduced me to it. I was, I used to go out quite a bit, raving, drinking a lot, and he challenged me to do a 10K. It was Edinburgh 10K. And the challenge was to get under an hour for that. So, and I managed to do it, but it was 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So somewhere there will be a record of that. So I think when I crossed the finish line, somebody handed me one of those sick buckets you get, and St. John's ambulance came over. So that was quite funny. But that was kind of my start to running. It's really helped me with my mental health. And now I'm kind of an outdoor enthusiast, really. I love getting outside, I love getting in the hills. And I would, I wouldn't want to have a drink because then it stops me getting off my run. So that's kind of a bit about me and my kind of running journey. And it's progressed more so from, I used to run with the Harriers, kind of mob of Harriers, very elitist kind of club, doing 5Ks, 10Ks and half marathons. But I kind of grew out of that, and I just want to, I just enjoy getting on the trails and just enjoying the run now. So, and that's kind of where I'm with stuff.
Now, when you say like more the trail stuff now, is that just because you enjoy that sort of running more? Is it like, were you doing the competitive stuff when it was on the road? And I know some people can kind of get a bit like, I'm really sick of chasing that time, and the trail is where that time actually doesn't matter anymore, does it? And it's just about getting that headspace and just doing a distance or whatever else. Is that kind of what pulls you to the trail?
I think so, yeah. I think I did a bit of speed back when I was younger. And I think there's a lot of pressure on when you go to these Harrier clubs. And I think even when I first started running, I didn't want to go to Harriers at first. I thought I'm not good enough. That kind of, it's kind of that stigma, I guess, about going into a running club like that. I know now it's a lot more. I mean, this is about kind of 10, 15 years ago. And I know running's a lot more accessible now. But I still think people, anyone you speak to doing Couch 5K, they would say, oh, I can't go to that running group yet because I'm not good enough. Right. And so I think it's getting away from that. I mean, the trails is less of that. I'm a bit older now. I'm a bit slower. But it's just reconnecting with nature and just getting out for kind of long periods of the day, out in the hills. That's what I really like. So I'm gonna
push back slightly on you there, Paul, and say when you say I'm slower. Oh yeah.
But the thing is, though, somebody asked me, we did this charity run last weekend, and 24 hours we ran for. I know you're used to doing a lot of 24-hour stuff, and a few guys will be. So we did 84 miles, and we weren't that happy with it. We wanted 100 miles, but right. And people are like, how on earth can you run that far? And I still say to stay, doing an ultra is easier than doing a marathon. If you're going for time, doing a marathon, you're redlining it, you've got this pressure of a time. An ultra, you take your time, you can have a chicken tikka at 30 miles if you want. All the food we had, this ultra we had corned beef pasties, pies, all sorts. You just walk when you want to, there's no pressure. My heart rate was in zone 2 for 23 and a half hours. So, and it's just that pain. It's just the feet, your muscles are a bit sore, but ask anyone, ultra's easier than a marathon, 100%.
Yeah, you're in a room of people that probably agree with you, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%. I've said it every time we have a podcast, it always comes up, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's a different kind of running. It could almost be a different sport entirely compared to road running, I think. Yeah. And I fell in love with it last summer, and it's 100%. It's more about connection and taking in the surroundings and just enjoying enjoying the event rather than bleeding through every socket you've got on your body trying to get over the line and under a specific time.
Well, that's it. And you meet so many people as well. You make these best friends in the trails, which you probably never speak to again. And I kind of love that community aspect. You chat, you're telling me your whole life story, and then you can't even remember the name. But it's
Exactly
just,
right.
I love that. I think the trail running community is the best running, like the best community kind of out there.
Yeah.
So,
And how about yourself, Logan?
I'm relatively new to running, I guess. I've only been running for about 2 years. I played basketball when I was growing up, so running to me was always like a punishment. It was like if you're late to practice or you've done something wrong, you've got to run. So it was always like a big negative aspect around it, so I never used to do it. And then I started doing high rocks a couple of years ago. So obviously you've got to run to be anywhere near decent at that. So I started doing that, obviously shorter distance stuff. And it was only September last year when Paul dragged us to do my first ultra distance. So that was my first taste at anything. To be fair, when I did that, I'd never ran more than a half marathon. So I got dragged into 110k over 2 days, and I'd never done more than a half. So that was interesting.
Love
he
it.
still beat me.
Yeah, I guess I'm relatively new to the running space. I'm still figuring out what I like and don't like. After like road running, I'm starting to really like the adventure of the trails though, and kind of getting out and like seeing some beautiful places. But I still don't mind a bit of road running every now and again.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
easier, more convenient for us.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty much the same. I love the trail, but and that's actually we'll get onto this in a bit. But when I first met you guys face to face, you took me somewhere where I'd never been and probably would never have gone simply because I don't know it's there. And I think that's the thing with the road running. I literally open my front door, and you're already there, right? So that's half the battle is knowing where to go and making sure you're safe as well, I guess. Because you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself, it's a bit sketchy, right?
I think that's the thing with what we're trying to do with the trail club is making it so people can go somewhere, like you're saying, they're safe, they're with people, they're not just out in the hills by themselves and possibly getting lost.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
let's jump straight into that then, because we've just introed you and we get a bit about your background now, and people that are watching or listening to this are thinking, yeah, but who are they? And why have we invited them onto the podcast? So let's jump straight into Heart and Soul and telling people what that's all about and why you came up with the idea and what your plans are, I guess.
Yeah. I think Logan's kind of touched on it. So we both met basically at a gym, and we were both kind of training a bit of high rocks, but I was doing more of the outdoorsy stuff. So Logan got me to do a high rocks, then I dragged him to do this ultra, and we kind of thought of this idea during the ultra.
He definitely got the easier side of that bet, by the way. Definitely the easier side doing a high rock. Well, right.
I don't know. But we were talking about, I don't know how much your listeners know about high rocks or what it is, but it's basically a kind of running functional fitness, but it's all inside. It's massive now. It's blown up all over the world. People pay hundreds of pounds to do it. You travel all over the world to do it. And I said, I love the high rocks, but it was all inside. You know, people go to Miami, they go all over the world to these places, but you could be in Hull, in Birmingham, wherever, because you're inside a conference centre, and that's all it is. And I was like, there must be a way we can try and get more people outside to do the functional fitness and all that kind of stuff as well, and do kind of more trail running as part of that. So that's kind of where we came up with Heart and Soul. We didn't have this concept of what we wanted to do with it yet, but we kind of thought some kind of key values around it. So I kind of 3 key values, and the first is being around making trail running more accessible. And we've kind of already touched on kind of what it is, but why it's not accessible. You know, like say you can put your shoes on, you get outside, and you can run around a house in the state, and that's super easy to do. Because I think a lot of people find it difficult to say, yeah, it looks beautiful on social media, go on the hills, but I haven't got the foggiest idea how to do it. I don't know what to take with me, what shoes to wear, how to do it, which route to go on.
Most people don't know how close they are to actually being on a nice trail as well. Like sometimes it's a 15-20 minute drive, and most people just have no idea it's even there.
Yeah. So that first value, we said, well, how can we kind of resolve that? And we came up with Trail Club, and it's basically, I hate that, you know, everyone's got a run club now. Everyone's doing run clubs, and I hate that terminology, run clubs, because I always say this is not a run club. It's Trail Club. It's very different to that. You know, you see a lot of these run clubs where people turn up in their fancy shoes and they end up with a commercial coffee, you know, like a Starbucks or what have you. So Trail Club, basically, we're taking people to beautiful locations within a kind of 20-30 minute radius drive of wherever you're going to live. So it's showing these people new locations where they can run, and we can run as a group to do it. So you can run, jog, walk it And we're hoping to give people the confidence and the skills to be able to then hit the trails by themselves. And we set these up they're all free, the community-based runs, and we set the first ones off a super beginner level, so anyone can come. We've had people as young as 16, so we've kind of capped it at that kind of age. And the eldest was 78 we had.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. And she lost her husband kind of 6 months prior to coming to this event. It's kind of the first running event she came to. And she said on the top of the hill, it's that fronton actually, Freddie. And she said, I had a spiritual moment up there. And I was like, have you ever been on the trails before? You're around on them? She's like, no, I've never been on them. And it's for all of those reasons given. You know, she runs around her estate, or she walks the dog around the estate, same loop over and over again. Yeah. But she's never had that confidence to get out there and to do that. So that was really powerful to me, and kind of gave purpose to what we're doing.
It made it feel like we were doing the right thing. I think getting that kind of feedback from someone, it was nice to hear.
Yeah, totally. You know, I've mentioned this a couple of times on the podcast previously, and I think that really resonates. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Kaylee, but it really resonates more to me with females, because I was out running with a friend of mine, and we were going down by the river where we live, and I pointed to a trail, and I said, "Oh, have you ever, down there's a really nice trail. You should check it out sometime." And she's like, "I can't go down there by myself. I need to go. If you go with me, great." But I forget. I think a lot of people forget that for a lady going out, especially by themselves, they don't want to be out on a trail by themselves because it can be a scary place. You could argue, Kaylee, I think it might have been you that mentioned this to me before, that you could argue actually that maybe that's almost a safer place because there's less chance of bumping into somebody. But still, it's a scary place to go on your own.
To be honest, I used to think that, but I've sort of changed my opinion on that, because I always thought that, like, trail running, obviously you're in the middle of the nowhere on your own, but the more I got into trail running, like, the stories that you hear generally, that when it's women, it could be on a busy road, like it could be a car, it could be a night time where someone's gone past them or they've been catcalled. Actually, if you're on a trail in the middle of nowhere, the chances of you running into someone, yes, whilst it's still scary, I'm not taking away from that, because I understand it's different for everyone. But for me, I think, like, even with just doing the ultra, like, I read that on my own, and there was sections of it where there was, like, no one around. And I did think at one point, like, if anything happened to me now, like, no one would ever be able to find us. But there's that side of it. But I think there's more fear attached to being near a road, but I think that never gets addressed because most people run on roads. So I don't know where I sit on it, but I can kind of see it from both sides. I just think, like, it's one of those things where maybe this is why communities have popped up so much now, running communities, because of this. Like, I think safety in numbers, especially in the dark nights and stuff, is really important for women.
That with the dark nights, that's really important. I've just had a client there, she just messaged before saying, "No, I can't wait for the lighter nights now so I can go and run and, like, feel all right after work again." Because she was going to the gym and doing it on a treadmill, and she was like, "I hate it. I want to be outside, but I don't want to when it's pitch black after work."
I think you've really got to, like, just... And again, I understand, I'm not trying to sound negative to, like, people who can't run in the dark, but, like, I'm part of a running club, and I think it teaches you, like, you've kind of just got to suck it up if you want to be outside. I hate the treadmill personally, so I'd rather run outside in the dark next to street lights than have to do the same run on a treadmill. If it's anything over 5K on a treadmill, like, it's not happening. It's just not happening.
No, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, but that lady then, that was her kind of, even at that age, getting out onto the trail. That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, and that's it. I think it's because it's, the trail running as well. It's a lot more slow pace. So there's not, we go pretty slow out the front, and we have different paces throughout the trail, and we have a few walkers at the back too. And it's a lot easier paced running, so it's that more social aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
So that's been a real big positive side. One of the other big values we've got, part of the 3 values, is around mental health. And me and Logan have both struggled with that. We've had friends that struggle with it too. A big part to help for your mental health is getting outside, doing some exercise. That's what we strongly believe. So, we've partnered with Calm. So part of all the profits from any of our paid events are going to go to Calm, which is a fantastic charity. And that's kind of one of our core values, that we want to make sure that we're obviously promoting a positive mental health and awareness around that.
Just done a challenge there. We've just raised, I think it's just under £1,300 for Calm. in this past week with the challenge that we've been doing. So that started with the 24-hour run, then added a 50-kilometer row, and then I just did a pro high rocks there on Saturday. So that was 24:51 was the challenge for the full week. So that all that was raised for calm as well, which was good.
I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah, I think it was yesterday, and I saw you doing the old wall balls at the end, and that was
terrific.
Yeah, I thought there's that bit going from the wall balls to the finish. You look like, yeah, I'm done. Brilliant.
Yeah.
You kind of did the Conor McGregor swagger at the end, though. But he said it's just he couldn't run anymore.
Nothing like this. Doing a pro high rocks after having 84 miles in the leg, it was possibly the worst taper week ever.
Sounds awful.
Out of those 3 challenges, which is the one where you're like, I don't want to do that again?
I think I'm going to take a step back from high rocks now, just because I want to do more distance stuff.
Right.
But the 24-hour run, I'd say, was still the toughest. It was probably the run, the high rocks, and the row in that order. But I think I'm going to take a step back from high rocks now and focus more on the longer distance stuff. I've got a few ultras in mind this year. I kind of want to. I'm really disappointed, like Paul said earlier, I didn't get the 100 miles. So I've got a 100 miler at the end of this year I want to do now and kind of tick them boxes.
He's the man you want to talk to. He's done it.
Jamie.
Was it Pilgrim?
I'm 100. Yeah, we're both doing that. We've just been before this. We're looking at training plans. We want to start looking at a training plan. So Logan was talking about getting a proper coach, and I was like, I've just chat GBT'd it. This looks amazing. This
The way to do it.
You don't need a proper coach to do 100 miles. Like we said, the training for 100 miles it's easier in my opinion than doing training for a marathon. I'm marathon training at the moment, and it is way harder than my 100-mile training last year. I'm actually going to use the marathon training to do the 100 miler about a month after my marathon. Well, I just say 6 weeks after my marathon, and I'll just bounce off that. It's way harder. The 100-mile plan is run a lot, run more, get tired, run a bit more after that.
They're eating like forward.
Yeah,
Not full.
Oh, it's fine. Just little sausage rolls.
Yeah.
You need proper scran on like 100-mile runs, so don't need to have any of these energy gels or anything. That is one of the beauties of trail running and ultra running, to be honest, is actually getting rid of the gels and eating.
I agree.
Real nonsense.
I'm going for a similar thing now. So I'm training for Manchester Marathon at the minute, but obviously I've got Enduro 24 in June as well. So when I did Enduro 24 last year and managed to get a double marathon, that training for that was kind of like, there was no gels involved. It was just going out. And like Jamie said, it was all about time on feet. Now I'm training for a proper marathon and trying to target like a half decent time, if you like. Oh, it's hard. Isn't it? It's so hard. And just even trying to remember to take a gel and stomach in a gel. And I don't know. I've got one this week on Sunday to come in. I've got one. It's 30K. And I think 18K of that is at marathon pace. And I know in a few weeks I've got to do that marathon pace of 42K. But I'm dreading doing it for this one coming up. Dreading it. I wouldn't have to do that in an ultra.
That's the tough part, isn't it? It's that interval. So if you had 6K or 10K or whatever the distance is, and it was like easy or whatever for an ultra, that's like, even if you can't be asked, you'd be like, okay, I can manage it. If it's like 10K intervals, it's like 10K hills, it's like, no.
Yeah.
I quite like the speed stuff. I still quite like it.
Yeah, you're a spring chicken still, though. You're young, so.
I'm 49 this summer. Jesus.
I mean, I think it goes both ways though, because I'm really enjoying marathon training, and like I'm training for a relatively quick time, and it's like it's high mileage, but it's also like lots of tempo and speed work and marathon pace stuff, and it's just very different to training to an ultra. Like in my opinion, it's harder just because of this stress the stress
Leads to stress fractures. You got it right there. You're going to say stress fractures.
It's quite fun. Yeah. Didn't mean to go along those lines, but yeah, it's fun in its own way. But I'm gagging to get back on those rails as well, like absolutely gagging, because I the mental health aspects as well of going out, and time spent among trees is never wasted time.
They were just going exploring these beautiful places. There's just something about it. So it's hard to put into words what it's actually like, because you need to be out there.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I think well, a lot of us here have done 24-hour events, but I was actually thinking about it today. But I remember when I've only done one, and it was in Jura. And I remember it was like 4 or 5 a.m. and the sun was coming
Beautiful.
up, and it's coming through the trees, and you can't buy that. Like, you're like hanging because you're like the stupid timing. How far are you in at that point? You're 12. Yeah, you're about 15 hours in or something ridiculous, and you're hanging, but you're like the sun's coming through the trees, and you've got a bacon sandwich in your hand,
Now
and
you're
you're living your best life. It's
That was the
Or
year
if your friend
before, yeah.
walked around in a pair
My
of
first
sliders.
Endure 24. I made the ridiculous mistake, guys, of on the first couple of laps. I've got 2 pairs. I was wearing Hockers at the time, and I got 2 pairs of Hockers, and they're slightly. One was a Clifton, one was a whatever. They were different models, but they had the same colorway. And I put the wrong ones on, and the ones I put on were just a smidge too small for my feet, and I got blisters really early on. I've never get blisters, but I got blisters like 7 mile into this run. And by sort of 1 o'clock in the morning, my feet are just in bits at that point. And I made the mistake of taking my shoes off, and I couldn't get them back on again. So I had to finish the ultra in a pair of slides. It was,
nice. Good
yeah.
goal, though. At least you finished it.
Well, yeah, we kept going. I managed to get to 50 miles, but yeah, after that was in bloody slides.
So
But
how
Jamie,
can
I,
I-
go on, Scott.
I was just going to ask the guys there. So you mentioned the social trail club, we won't call it a running club. How is that organically getting bigger over time, and how many have you done so far? What's the uptake been like, and are you getting repeat returners and things?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done 4 now, haven't we? We've done one a month since this year, every month. And for health and safety, obviously, we're on the trail, so we need to know roughly how many people we've got. So it's a free event, but we put it on Eventbrite. It's ticketed still. Every single one sold out. The last one, we had 100 people. So we did it on the beach. And the feedback, and we would try and do it in different places and like collaborations with different gyms or whatever to try and get more people involved in it. And the amount of people the diversity in people that are coming to these run clubs, these trail clubs, sorry, shouldn't call it run club, is amazing. And yet they've been super popular, and it's that social aspect as well. The last one we had, we partnered with a sauna company, so they were putting saunas on the beach, doing sea dips after that. Obviously, it's great for your mental health, getting the cold water, getting the sauna. We always go to like a local coffee shop as well afterwards as well, and have a bit of a chat there too, because that kind of feeds nicely into it. So our third and final kind of core value is promoting the Northeast and promoting everything about it. So we find there's so much great events. I mean, there's great events already in the Northeast, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really promote the Northeast as it should do. It's always the Lake District or down south somewhere, Wales. There's nothing really big in the Northeast, and you've got some incredible trails. You've got the Cheviots, the Northumberland National Park, the coastline. It's County of the Castles. It's absolutely amazing, and there's some amazing brands up here as well we've been collaborating with. So that's kind of what we really want to do, is just promote the Northeast and get more people up here. But yeah, the trail clubs, they've been super successful, super popular, and like I say, we're just putting them on for free.
I think it's good just to get people out and like exploring the different places. As I say, you have so many people who come and say, I've never ran on trails before, but they feel like they can come and get involved because it's a group, it's an organised thing. They know the route's not going to be mega technical, so they can come and try and get involved as like a beginner, if you would, which is good.
Yeah. Usually I recce it first, and then you have to do a second recce because it might be a bit too technical if I've recce'd it first. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, there's a 6-foot drop there.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I mean, I went to the one up in, is it Thornton Woods, you call it, or wherever it was. I went up there, and it was good fun. I will say I did have a little issue with it. The start where we started in the car park, they're like, yeah, we're going straight uphill. Like, thanks, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, straight
Where
up
the
there.
best views are. But we're taking everyone to the viewpoint that day, and it was the mistiest day this year. So I was like, look at the view, and you can see the hand in front of your face.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So what else? I mean, because obviously it's called Heart and Soul Racing, and you've touched on the social aspect of it. But now let's jump into that. What's the racing side of it? What's going on there?
So, well, basically, the racing side of it, the first idea we came up with is a race that's going to be done at the festival. So, we like the idea of high rocks with the atmosphere, or at least I did. So, the atmosphere you get it's electric. It's an amazing vibe when you're in there. And I was like, after I did that ultra with Paul, I was like, how do I bring that atmosphere into trail running? So then you start thinking, we start looking at backyard ultras. It's obviously a small loop. You have a stage with music, then you're going to get that on every kind of loop. So we're trying to bring that idea into it. But rather than a backyard ultra where it's starting every hour on the hour, we just thought, let's just open it up for time and just clock as many laps as you want. So if you want to stop for 3 hours in the middle of it, crack on, that's fine. You know what I mean? If you sign up for the 24-hour one and you get 18 hours and you go, had enough, I'm going to the bar, fair enough. You know what I mean? There's no pressure on it. So it's really making it super accessible for anyone who wants to get involved with it. And it's just a small loop course where you've got that atmosphere and that music, but still on beautiful trails.
Yeah, we really want to go back to that kind of core value of making it accessible. So people might want to do, like you say, like, I mean, I guess the race concept we've got is similar to Endure 24, and there is a few looped ones where you can run for as long as you want. But we wanted this to be a celebration, like a festival, if you like. So Heart and Soul Fest, which is the kind of flagship event we're doing this year up in August, the ultra, the race, is only one aspect, and it's one of the headline acts. If you look at Glastonbury or Leeds Fest, it's got the headline acts of the bands. Our headline acts is the fitness, the community. So the top headline acts is the ultra, like it says 24-hour. I don't even like the word ultra because I think that puts people off. I don't like using it because people say I can never do an ultra, but we've designed this race for anybody doing a couch to 5K. It means, if they can only run 5K, their target might be, I want to do 10K in 24 hours. You can go ahead and do that. You can do 5K in the morning and 5K the next day, and you can go to the festival. So the race itself, like Logan says, goes through the main festival arena. You've got your pit stops, like how you would at kind of Endure 24 or a backyard ultra. But the actual race goes through the centre of the festival. So past the main stage, past the MC, past the music. And then if you want to just drop out, you can drop out. You can do some yoga, some Pilates, get some food. And this is where we partnered with a lot of kind of Northeast brands where, there's going to be top quality food there, singers, artists, and some great people doing workshops. Nice. And there's some fantastic speakers we've got. We haven't fully announced them all yet. We've announced a couple. But it's been some fantastic speakers. Yes, that's kind of the whole idea around the festival itself. It's a festival, but it's more about community and fitness rather than kind of just going to get pissed and, coming back feeling rotten after it. So
I've said it's the only festival you'll leave feeling better than when you came.
Like it.
I say that. It's if you go to 100 miles in 24 hours, that might be a slight.
That spoke like someone who hasn't run 100 miles.
Yeah, I was going to that's depend on how many laps they've run. If you've got someone running off for 24 hours, be falling out.
This is it. I mean, I think with our race, we're not expecting, it's going to be a very small percentage of people that's going to do it solo and want to kind of nail out like 100 mile. The whole point of this event is you can do it in teams up to 12, but they can all run at the same time as well. And it's so we categorize it onto you got your solo, your pairs, small teams, medium teams, large teams, and they can run as many laps as they want, either individually or relay or all together. So I'd imagine for the first few and the last ones, they're all going to want to run together, and then they can kind of run however they want. But if they all want to leave the race course, they can do, and then
that was important for me, that because I was like, if you sign up as a team, you want to run with your friends. They're your friends who you've signed up with. Why do you want to do a traditional relay style? Let 4 out of the 12 run at the same time. Then the others can go, you can do a lap together. That's 12 laps for your team then.
Yeah.
So you can run with your mates, and it's making that kind of fun for everyone.
That's a big difference between that and Endure.
Yeah, if you've got some
yeah. I was going to say, I was like, what's kind of setting you apart? And that is.
Well, I just think if one of your mates is a really strong runner, and they might be going for something that's a little bit ridiculous. They drag you along, knowing you might want to run a half marathon in 24 hours. You do one lap with them, you sit down for a bit, and they come and get you. Come on, do one more. You're only doing a half marathon in 24 hours, but that might be massive for someone. Whereas the mate who's a stronger runner is kind of dragging them along on these laps. And I think it'll be a nice atmosphere for that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point as well, though, because when you do point to point, people do get injured and drop out, and then what do you do? Like, if you're like at 30 mile and you're running 60 mile, like, what do? at least with yours or anything that's lapped, you've got that option of like, oh, I'm going to rest it if you get an injury or if you pick up a niggle. You've got that time to think about it and process, get some food, like you say, do some yoga, see if you can
Get a
stretch it out.
massage, yeah.
Yeah, it gives it like a fresh take. So I guess it's setting people up for success as well, which is really good.
That's the thing. We'll have physios there, saunas, ice baths and stuff. So you'll have all this stuff where if you do pick up a niggle, it's like, oh, I'll just go and see the physio for 20 minutes and then I'll jump back in because there's no pressure to keep running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have an hour out, go and get yourself a donut, coffee, beer, whatever.
Love that.
That's a great word, isn't it? There's no pressure. And I didn't want pressure. We didn't want pressure from like DNFs, from cut-off times. So we wanted to make this, like I say, as accessible as we can for everyone. I mean, and if you do want to full send it and say, I want to get 120 miles, then you can do that as well. It's a pretty nice course. It's pretty flat. So
we couldn't get 100 miles.
yeah.
No, I love that. We spoke about this before as well, and I think that's a huge barrier is cut-off times. And ultimately, you've got one cut-off time at your event, and that's get one lap done in 24 hours. You know, and that's the bit I love, because anyone can come out and do that. Then at that point, lots of people want to give 50Ks a go and 50 milers and all this, but they simply don't enter because they're scared they're not going to meet that cut-off time. If you are a slower runner, especially, then that really puts you under the pressure, because already the distance is already enough pressure, right? Then when you add the time element to it as well, 100% puts people off. I mean, I know people that it's put off. So I love that aspect where you can just jump on and you've got 24 hours to do one lap. Off you go. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about running hat on
it's
here.
hopefully going to...
Sorry, I was just going to ask, with my competitor head on, is there an incentive to finish? Is there a medal or is there a t-shirt or a hat involved?
If you're doing solo, there'll be prizes for the solo winner. But you won't be racing against a team of 6 or a team of 12. So they'll all be categorized separately, because obviously teams of 12 are only racing against a team of 12. So there'll be winners for the most amount of laps and stuff like that. But we have been discussing recently doing some like prizes within, like fastest lap, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Some little ones.
I think we're going to do some fun prizes in that as well, like to make it really so yeah. So we've partnered with one of the local brands. It's Mountain King. So then if anyone uses poles, they're based up in Ponteland, I think Newcastle. They make some great walking and running poles. But there's a small segment. It's not very high, is it? But it's quite steep after.
Felt high at 23 hours.
So we're going to call that kind of the Mountain King or the Trailblaze Hill and put a segment in there. So that could be like a little prize for getting up there the fastest and stuff like that. So there will be cool things going on and kind of spot prizes, but they're not going to be irregular. I mean, there will be a few regular spot prizes for like the fastest and the most laps done. And then, of course, I'll have a bit of bling as well. So everyone's going to be getting an awesome medal and a goodie box as well. We're calling it. So it's not going to be like a goodie bag you get with a ham sandwich and a can of Stella. We're going to be like a premium a premium goodie box. We're partnering with a local blog doing that. So, it should be good.
Oh, nice.
Are you thinking about adding anything in?
I think
so.
so.
Reach the magical 100-mile point, because like there's people like me that go for these events, and I specifically went to Endure for the first one, down by me because of the looped situation, due to the fact that if it is an out and back sort of out point to point course, it is a bit more daunting, for the reasons that Kaylee mentioned. So it's brilliant what you're doing, but there's people like me who are going to target that 100-mile, and it's always nice to have that carrot on a stick, It's
a great. We're definitely going to do something for people that get in the 100-mile club. But we've been trying to, I've seen GB Ultras, they do for their top 100. You get a gold medal, for the 200 it's silver, then everyone else gets bronze. I don't want to do something that's already been done. So if you guys got any ideas, we want something really cool and what runners will want. So if your listeners have got any ideas of what to give and what that prize could be for everyone does 100, then let us know, because we want it to be pretty cool and special.
We did talk about doing something a little bit silly if you beat our 84 miles.
I think we'll still do that as well. Yeah.
So you'll get a little patch or something with our faces and we'll go, and you beat these knackers.
Well, I think it would be cool to have something like from the local area or something that represents you getting that 100-mile. Could be anything, like just a big stone or a lump of an old tree that was cut down, or something cool like something cool like that. Yeah, well, do you know what I mean? Like something from the area. Like, why you don't have to do the belt buckle or the t-shirt. You want something to stand out.
Get a rock
cool,
from there.
You know,
so for every you want to hope not that many people get 100 miles, and if I'm carrying a rock down.
Well, you've done
Grab
high
yourself a
rollers.
bag of
You're
sand.
fine.
2 big bags of rocks. Just
Yeah, and if you do, and the people who get the further distance have a heavier rock,
And then
they have to
squat.
set up a little podium with said rock as well when they're finished.
And we'll vlog the whole
Yeah,
thing as
just
well,
squat.
so everyone can laugh at us doing it.
That'll be that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be brilliant to have something along those lines, because it will really drag people,
I think,
especially people like me who are
that people
hunting
are going to
for
be really
that
competitive
something
with it. They've
different
got to
race.
have an incentive. You know what I mean? They can't just get the same medal as someone. As amazing as it is for someone to do maybe 5 or 10k, if you're hitting that 100 miles, you've got to have something for it, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice because with ultras as well, you tend to see it a lot. It is more inclusive, but you do get a broader spectrum of people joining, I find, with trail running in general. And you'll get people who really don't care, and they are just there for the single lap and have a party and get really drunk. And then you get people like me who are super competitive and going for, to essentially destroy themselves for 24 hours because that's how you get your kicks. And then there's everyone in between. With road racing, I find there's a lot of people who are just essentially carbon copies of myself standing next to me, whereas at a trail race, there's only like 12 of us. And it's much nicer. But yeah, it'd be cool to have that, or something like the 100k mark as well, because a lot of people go to these events and target 100k.
Well, we only did
and 100k is a long way.
Bloody long way.
Yeah.
It's a.
You
It is. Everything that looks like a speed bump is suddenly a walkable. That's a hill, lads.
Like, this is
Walking
really flat.
that's a
80
hill.
hours in, it was like that's a slight gradient for walk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Slight is great. Minor breeze is a horrible headwind. Absolutely. And I remember, I think I've told these guys about it, but I did Race to the Stones last year, which I found harder than 100 miler. Just FYI, but I was 95k and I dropped a gel packet and I spent about 5 minutes trying to pick it up off the floor. It's just the most awful. It was like comical. You can't bend your legs. You're just trying to hunch over. But watching people like that at those races, at least you're gonna have physios there and ice baths.
Paul and Logan,
so it was terrible.
For you guys individually, when it comes to distance running, because we can all talk about 100 miles and stuff, but what is your favourite go-to distance for the two of you?
Like a half. Like if I'm on road, I like a half marathon.
Katie's nodding away.
Yeah. I used to love a 5k. I mean, that's back when I was fast, because that's probably sort of over very quickly. But yeah, you red line in there. You taste in blood. I was I did quite like. I was quite good at it as well. But now, I mean, probably about 50 miler, something like that. What's this? The 65k, 60k, something like that. She's still not racing. Well, I'm not racing it, and it's still a nice distance to. You're not absolutely knackered at the end of it. So.
As a
50
favourite
miles is an
race,
interesting answer. I would not put it down as a nice distance.
you're both deep.
Yeah.
Ooh,
still casual 50 miler, guys.
Sorry.
Dare I ask what your 5k PB is?
Well, back when I was running that, I was trying to get sub 17. My best was like 17:02. So
That is redlining. That just makes me feel ill even thinking about it. I would even run 2 mile that fast.
it was always
That does.
as well. I was one of those apart.
That is awful. How can you,
The guy-
I always find people who enjoy 5k the most weird.
That's the sinks.
You don't want to turn up with the vaporflies and the racing club vest.
Pushing kids out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the vest is the one that I've never tried even running in a vest. I don't know. I don't, because I'm a rounder. Am I? Because I'm a rounder build guy. Well, I still am. I'm still overweight. I've lost a lot of weight, but I still am. I'm still in that bracket. No matter how I can try and, tart it up, but I still am. And I just think, I'd love to be one of those guys that rocks up in a vest, but I just haven't got the balls to do it. I'd love to give it a go, though.
You'd be surprised, you'd be surprised, like in our club, all shapes and sizes, you just go out.
That's good to say.
Yeah. Everyone's got a shirt off and the all shapes and sizes at a high rock. Nobody's got a shirt.
No. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
No one. Like the only person that cares where you look is yourself. Like no one cares. I mean, I thought the same way, and now I am, as you are probably aware, a bit of a vest person. Anytime it's like above 10 degrees, right? Vest out, boys. Like go running in a vest. It was that first bit of sun last week, and I had my long run vest. Oh, brilliant! Love it. I love a vest.
The thing is, though, park run used to be a safe place, but now every park run's got a bloody photographer.
It's the best thing.
We don't need that. Announcers.
And like announcers at the finish line as well now.
Is that right?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Sometimes it's like all shout out the finish line.
Have you guys got like so at Endure, they have somebody announcing every lap comes through. So if there's people at the bar not really interested in what's going on the track, you hear your mate's name called and everyone turns around and gives them a bit of a cheer. Have you got kind of like a checkpoint that'll be constantly announcing for the 24 hours?
If we're going to have like an MC, like similar to High Rocks, like shouting encouragement, maybe taking the mick out with a few people every now and then, and kind of getting that crowd.
Yeah.
So I think that should be good fun.
Yeah, because there'll be a fan zone there as well, so they can have a chat with the fans, the guys, the family supporting them, and then the pit stops are just kind of outside of that. Everyone can like bring their own tents and sit and chill.
Yeah, that's right next to like the hybrid arena. Just enough.
How long is the lap?
Yeah, so it's quite short. And again, we did that deliberately again because we want people to be involved in the festival, so they come back to it. So it might put a few people off thinking, it's a bit boring course, but I think there's enough variation there. There's woodland trails, the little hill, it's around a lake. It's really, really nice place where it's at.
It is it's a beautiful spot, and I have to say that the ones that Endure that we've been doing before is an 8K loop, and actually, if that lap was half the size, that to me is more appealing actually, because you're going around it anyway, and I actually found when you're at the far end of the lap, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're really lonely actually, and at that time of night, and when you've been on your legs that long, that you get 4K round, and the next 4K. It's a long time to be on your own, because at that point it's taking you an hour and a half, 2 hours to do a lap because you're done. Yeah. So I think that bit's more appealing, and because you're not going to be far, I guess you're going to be close enough all the time that you're probably going to hear the music all the time as well. It might be quiet, but you'll be able to hear it, I'd imagine, from the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
We're open, so yeah, and we didn't want people to have to carry anything as well, like vests or anything, so they shouldn't really have to. I mean, we didn't.
Admittedly, I think that's one of the things that I don't think I would have got 100 miles anyways, but I think I would have been closer to it if I had carried stuff, because you stop in almost every lap just for a sip of water, and then them stops are getting longer and longer. So I felt like that was kind of my downfall as to why I only hit the 84, because I wasn't carrying anything, which will appeal to some people because it's nice to stop and chat with your friends. But for people who are more competitive, if I was doing it again, I'd wear a pack.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when we did Endure last year, we stopped every lap to get something to eat, but actually a lot of time could have been saved there had that food and everything else been prepared. And I think that was like, I was even making a sandwich, and I mean physically making it, buttering the bread and putting it together halfway through. And actually, if all them sandwiches were made and it was in a little grab bag, I think that's part of the secret, isn't it? It's taking that, instead of having a 20-minute stop, trying to get that down to a 3 or 4 minutes. you've all of a sudden given yourself loads of time back to be out on the trail.
It's learning as you well.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's important. Like preparation is key. Like I came from. I'm not going to bore you on to death there, but I came from like mountain biking world, and I used to do a lot of 24-hour racing in that. So, and it's even harder to get the food in. So for like endure for me, I had a table set up at like the right height with pre-prepared food for each lap coming through, and like it had like sandwich, drink, whatever food was all there. So I literally would walk by, wouldn't even stop, pick it up, and then keep walking and eat it, and then chuck the whatever rubbish in the bin on the way through. And I wouldn't have my stops ever longer than 45 seconds to a minute for the entire 22 hours I was racing. Like,
I fell victim of that. Yeah,
I you can't. The bed and the chair is the enemy.
I want me
and
legs
Scott's not
vertical.
doing it this year.
I love a lie down.
Logan, I went for a quick 20-minute nap, and I lost 3 hours in the middle of the night. My head hit the car pillow, and I was gone. I woke up to a marshal walking towards my car with angel wings on in the middle of the night. I thought I'd died. I thought I'd gone to heaven.
That was class. The thing was, though, Scott, I'm not being disrespectful when I say this, Scott, but Scott was dead, and he was like, I've got to go and have a lie down. So off he went, and he got himself 3 hours. But he woke up in the morning, and he banged out his quickest laps of the whole bloody event. It just seemed to reset you, and you were all of a sudden a bit of a beast flying around there.
It's amazing what jelly babies can do.
Yeah. So true.
3 hour nap with some jelly babies, right? That's a new man.
Yeah.
Are you two going to run any laps yourselves on the day then or not? Oh, you'd be busy directing and
Love
stuff.
to, but I think we'll be busy.
Aye.
Yeah. I mean, the whole festival we've kind of set up with like, it's something that we would love to attend. Like we're like, this looks amazing. Why can't there be something nice for us to go to? But I think we're going to be too busy. I mean, maybe we can just do one or two to get away from the chaos, because I'm sure we're going to be pretty busy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll do that. I mean, there's going to be so much going on.
Day before, we got to do that.
So
I might try and squeeze one in, just give some people some encouragement, run around with them every now and again. But we'll see.
Yeah,
absolutely. I tell you one thing I was going to ask you, actually, and I don't know if you plan this or not. Are people able to camp the night after?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday camping. So you can have 3 nights of camping.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that's all basically included. So yeah, you turn up on the Friday, you can do registration, and stuff will start. Our big key speakers, we don't want the guys doing the ultra to miss them. So there'll be a lot of inspirational talks on the Friday evening, and then obviously on the Sunday as well. So, but the big speakers will be on the Friday, so people don't get to miss that.
Brilliant.
And then it's a family-friendly festival. So I think one of the other things, I always drag my wife and kids to come watch me on my ultras, and they see me for 2 minutes, running into the toilet and shove my face of Jaffa cakes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, the kids are always freezing cold, so there's going to be loads for them to do. So it's going to be a good atmosphere for the whole family to come and cheer you on. And they probably won't end up watching you because there's so much going on for the kids.
Like climb a board in the middle of the lake. You'll be running around, you'll just see them on the lake, and they're not interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, but it gives you an excuse for parents to get out there and run, and you'll have something for the kids to do as well. So I think a lot of my pals are runners and they're single parents, and they struggle to get out a bit of run, and they struggle to be able to do events like this because there's no one for the kids. So the kids can come along to this and go to the kids' clubs and do stuff there. Parents can do what they like doing too.
Yeah.
So the festival ticket, with the way we've priced it, and it is a bit, and this was kind of one of our worries. If you go on to our ticket provider, let's do this, there's like a million options. So that's why it's good to kind of do things like this and explain. Because when you explain to people what it is and what the options are, they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. But basically, you would choose the ultra, and that includes if you have the weekend pass, it includes everything. So it includes your workshops, your yoga, the water sports, the climbing wall, all your activities. We're going to start posting. It includes everything all in there. There might be a couple which are excluded, but so far everything is included.
Yeah, the big ones like the yoga and the Pilates, that's all going to be included. With the physios and stuff, we're going to have some like good physios, and there's as well as some students there. So the good ones might be paid for like £10 for 15 minutes or whatever, but the students will all be free there as well. The ice baths will be free to use. So that's all included in the ticket price. The same with the hybrid arena. If you buy the hybrid ticket, you can have the weekend to enjoy whatever you want, as well as do your workout for an hour and a half or whatever it's going to take on the Saturday or the Sunday.
Cool. Yeah.
Quite cool about all the kids stuff because I've got very young kids, like 6 and 8, and it can be a bit boring for them to hang around at some of the races. Understandable, like dad's out doing some stupid race. Why is he doing this for so long? But they're very like active, like they love
obviously the location, like Freddie knows
that.
where it is. Like
stuff for the
lake
kids.
committee, so we're gonna have like paddleboarding and open water swimming in the lake and stuff. Hopefully we'll get good weather and all this for it.
Yeah, and there's loads of kind of education. There's like quite a few educational stuff like geocaching and orienteering for the kids, so they can get trained on how to do that. So it's kind of giving them the skills for like hiking and outdoor activities. And we do have some guided hikes as well. So if anyone doesn't want to do the run, they don't want to do the hybrid stuff, it is just a festival. You can come and listen to some really good bands too. So there's going to be some great live music.
I'd come just for deep golf too.
Is this like highlighted on your like entry page? Because like this is quite a big thing, like all this stuff for the kids and whatnot. Like it's a big selling point for a lot of like athletes my age, because it's like having all that cool stuff. I have had a brief look at your page and like the race and whatnot. But I must have either skipped over this bit or it's just not in my face, because this is this would cause me to do the
looking at the mark. I mean,
6 to 7 hour drive to get there.
It's like wellness festivals over in the US. So that's kind of what we're trying to achieve with it. But in answer to your question, it's probably not on our website. We're still developing it. We're still learning the website. I mean, the business itself, it was only kind of, the website's only went live in February. So we're still kind of constantly developing it. And we want it to look cool as well. Like the brand in the socials, that everyone says, wow, it looks sick. Who does it? And we're like, we do it. We don't pay anyone to do it because we can't afford to. But we try putting loads of words on the website, and then it just doesn't look as good anymore. So it's what words are important to get on there, what you're doing. And that's why when you sit down with somebody and say, this is what we're doing, and explain it like this, they're like, wow, that sounds amazing. Why didn't you tell us? And it's like, well, it's hard to tell you about telling you, because there's nothing else really like it.
Yeah. I think it's really good as well, the navigation stuff, because like these are the things that really we should all be taught at school. Like, you always have this conversation where teach you absolute crap that you never use. But like, I came to like, well, I've literally done one ultra and I haven't done a 100 miler. But navigation, I think, is such a like big thing. And obviously you've all got watches now where you can do it, but like, amount of times you do like a recce or something and your watch is like sending you one way and you turn round and the map turns round, and I think they're just really good skills that like is such a huge selling point. Because for me, going back to the thing about women getting lost and being on your own and that sort of thing, like I know a lot of fell running clubs do it, but it's kind of a lost art in running. So I think that would be a selling point as well. I think just the fact that you're teaching that to kids, like these are like the future runner or hybrid runners or whatever they want to be, So, and I think the hybrid stuff as well it's trending so much as well. I think getting on that even it's just such a great way to package it all together. But I definitely think the navigation stuff, like if someone said to me, oh, you can come to this festival and we'll teach you, like, makes us sound like an idiot, but we'll teach you basic navigation. It's just like, for some people, it's just not having that entry level and that place to come where they don't feel stupid and they know where to start. So whilst the events are a really good thing, like what Jamie says as well, there's probably stuff, if there's a way to do it, whether you do it on socials or something, there's probably a way to kind of sell the smaller stuff as well. Because I think that would be a huge selling point for it and a huge draw.
Yeah. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a lot more kind of talking to the camera reels. I know they can be a bit cringe. Which, we did some recording the other week before the charity, so we're just in the process of editing that now to make sure it's all right. So yeah, it is a bit cringe, but I think it gets the point across.
It's not. I'm going to say that. I mean, it's a bit like what I said before about I don't want to go running in a vest, and Jamie's like the only one person that cares is you. It ain't cringy from our side. When we watch those sorts of videos, we all watch them, right? Which is why you're doing them. Don't think they're cringy.
Mm-hmm.
They're really, really not. I love that shit.
I think as well, it's like it's what sells a brand. I've never done a high rocks. Like I'm really feeble. I can run, but that's about it. Can't lift for anything. But like I watch loads of like Nick Bear and BPN stuff, and it's all about the branding. Like obviously it's your space, so you'll probably know. But like I think with him, it kind of resonates with people. So it's just getting, like you say, getting that out there on your rails. So when he feels cringe because it's so natural, doesn't it? Like standard.
Yeah.
But
It takes a bit of
the more you
practice.
do it, the easier it'll get, and you're selling something you're passionate about as well, which I think really
It'll
helps.
come across.
You know,
It'll come across naturally. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I feel that way now when I'm making YouTube videos. If I'm trying to get better at it now. I used to, if I was going to an event, I'd jump around the corner where it's quiet, record my bit to camera, and then go back to the crowds. I'm trying to get myself better at it now, just saying, bugger it. I just talk in front of people because you do feel really cringy, but I just think you keep doing it. It does get better. How do you feel with that, Katie? Because obviously you make them as well.
I'm getting better at it. The thing I don't like is when I race, I like to document a race, but I don't like sticking my camera in other people's faces. So I'll have great conversations, but I'm so far away from like, oh, hi, let's talk. Because I just think some people are there to race. They don't want some like silly lass with a camera going, oh, can we have a conversation middle of it? Like, not everybody's about that. Like, that's where I always feel self-conscious is like, I'm being me, but obviously some people don't want to be filmed, and I would never ever feel comfortable putting a camera in someone's unless it was in a like interview sort of situation. Sure. So like, I'm not so bad with it's just me, like with the Ultra stuff and that I filmed, but a lot of it you're just on your own, so it's not so bad. But it's easier for me because like it's me and Chris most of the time, so there's two of us, so you've got someone to bounce off. So I guess maybe that'll work for you as well. Like it's easier when there's two of you because you're not just the idiot on your own with the camera, So, but yeah,
She just called me an idiot.
Strange thing.
You just called me an idiot, didn't she? Yeah.
Did I call you an idiot? I'm
Well, you
sorry.
just said I'm not an idiot on my own.
Well, sorry. Thought that was implied. I'm only joking. You know what I mean?
Have you thought about the backyard ultra approach with maybe a static camera on the finish start line broadcasting on YouTube through the duration?
Yeah, we have looked at doing stuff like that as well. It's all just for the first year. We want to make it a success so people come back and we can scale it. We've said this is we've talked about. This is our passion project. We both work full time. We're not going to make any money off this at least for 5 years. We want to grow this until it's massive. Until this is like a Glastonbury of the fitness world.
Yeah.
So it just depends on kind of budget we've got. We've capped this event at 1,000 tickets, basically for licensing. So that's kind of, it jumps up in costs there after that. But the main reason is as well is we want to make it perfect for everyone that's there. They don't want to come and, we don't want to get greedy and try and get more people in, and then it's not a good event.
One of them things. It's our first year doing it, so there's going to be things where we'll look back on it and go, that could have been better, we could have done this, we could have done that. There's going to be so many learning curves, and
100%.
you need to not look at them as failures, but that's what we're going to improve next year and then the following year and so on. Because there's going to be loads of mistakes we'll make. There's going to be.
Of course, and that's
But
where
then
it gets
it's
better, right?
anything, isn't it? Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things. Like you just learn as you go.
Yeah. But what about outside of that then? You've mentioned the social aspect that you've got going on, then you've got the festival in August. Is there other things outside of that? Other races you're looking at putting on?
Yeah, well, because from what you're kind of saying, because logistically it's a different type of race. We're doing a test event. It's called Test Flight, and that's on April 26th. 26th of April. So it's our first kind of paid event. Again, we try to keep it pretty exclusive, so kind of any members that's already come to a lot of our races. We've got quite a few people sign up for that already. And again, it's a capped race, so it's nearly kind of at the target of where we're at. And it's basically, it's at the same course, so Durage, it's the same lap, but it's for 3 hours? I was going to say 6 hours.
3 hours and then max teams of 6. So we've got some solos, we've got some teams, basically just to see how the timing chips are working on the bibs with 6 people running together. If it's everything's working correctly, just so I've got peace of mind when the festival comes around that everything works as it should.
But, I really wanted to come along to that. I really wanted to come along to that, but it's the day before Manchester Marathon. Yeah, better not.
So,
Use it as your warm up.
So anyone does that.
Back-to-back days.
Yeah. No, definitely not. That's cool.
But I mean, long term, we want to start putting on more events as well. So, like I said, the festival's kind of the flagship event, but we do want to look at more.
I want to do smaller races. I want to do like 15, 20k trail races, maybe even some 10k trail races. Like, just make them relatively easy, some more difficult, and then you know, obviously scale them and tell people what the train's like. But just do smaller trail races that are a bit cool and necessarily don't need that much setup or planning. Although everything does now, I just tend to overlook it and then I find out later.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Nice. Now normally,
it's trying to think,
sorry, go on.
it's trying to think about different quirky races as well. Because I've been coming up with some kind of mad ideas on for races, and you're like yes or no, that's actually quite good. So we're trying to think of kind of different ideas. You know, you've seen there's a few different races. Like, has anyone done the drop before?
And I haven't done it, but I know what it is.
Seen it, yeah.
Quite good. So stuff like that. So basically, the drop is you get a tracker, you meet at a pub. That's where the meeting point is. They put you all on the bus, blindfold you, take your phone and your watch off you, and they drive you to either 10-mile radius or 15-mile radius. So you could be anywhere from that starting point, and you've got to make your own way back.
Yeah.
And obviously you can live track it. And then if people do really get stuck, they send out emergency crews to go and pick them up. So I did one of those forest girls, quite good. Luckily, I knew where I was, so I got back quite quick. And that's really nice. Well, so you don't have to be the fastest runner. I think we came third and fourth, and I did it. And we certainly weren't running very fast. But some people were like 20 miles the wrong way. When we got back to the pub having a pint, we could see them on the track. And I was thinking, oh my God, they're nearly in Scotland.
Love it.
That would be me.
Yeah. They do look good fun though. I've seen the drop. I had some friends do that last year. It did look good fun. Definitely give that a go. Well, at this point, we normally we've got some sort of set questions that we normally ask our guests. Just really quick fire. I mean, there's nothing challenging here. But running clubs, are you members? Or so is that a yes or a no? I know you've done it in the past. You mentioned Paul, but are you both club members now at all?
I'm not. Never have been.
Right.
No.
No, you're not. Well, I kind of, it's not an official run club, but it's like an offshoot from the Harriers. So it's the rebels who didn't like the elitist running style of the club we were at. So
right.
We set up our own one. So
yeah. And running shoes, what's acceptable amount to spend on running shoes? I used to put a limit on this, then I tried a pair of really nice shoes, and it turns out now it's just spend your money, Freddie.
I haven't found an upper limit yet.
Oh, what? Sorry?
Haven't found an upper limit yet. If I ever like someone, I'll spend money on it.
my wife's not going to watch the podcast, is she?
Sorry?
What is your most expensive pair of running shoes then?
I've just got a pair of Nordas, which I thought was pretty
If you've
expensive
not
for
found,
trail
what is
ones.
your most expensive pair of running shoes
Don't
then?
even know what that is.
How much have you spent on a pair?
250.
What about
And what's the sort of price range?
I'm always like, this is a thing where like you
No,
might be able to
ain't cheap, is
answer
it?
this better than me because I've got no idea. Like, what do you wear for high rocks? Because the thing with high rocks is obviously you want something that you can run in, but running shoes are unstable. So I know a lot of people wear Pumas, but I'm just curious as to what.
I've got a pair of Pumas that I'd usually do it in, but I actually couldn't fit my feet into them on Saturday after the weekend.
Oh my god!
I did it in a pair of Brooks, the Hyperion Max 2s, I think it is.
Oh,
I did
yeah.
it in a pair of them this weekend, just gone. So, I mean, anything really doesn't really matter. Anything you can push and slide in. It's just the lunges. If they're too high to stack, you're going to feel a bit unstable and a bit wobbly. So, a lower-ish stack or something that's pretty stable.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
It's always one of those things, like, not that I do many weights, but like, you know, you go to the gym and you put the wrong trainers on, and you're like, I'm doing a strength day, and you turn up and you're running trainers, and you're like, why have I done this? Like, and you're like wobbling all over the place. It's like one of those
It's a
weird.
con
Totally.
It's a good point, actually, because I will Adidas Sprung X for my high rocks, and the lunges, they're like the stacks like that. It's like illegal. Like, the running was brilliant. Yeah, the lunges are like Bambi. So.
Music, yes or no, while you're running?
Yes, rarely. I
Rarely.
used to all the time, but I've got away from it now.
I guess that's the trail thing as well, isn't it? Because like road running, you almost, for me anyway, if I'm road running, I almost want there to be music just to drown out any noise, the traffic or whatever else. But I guess when you're out spend more time out on the trail. It's nice and peaceful, isn't it? And just take
I
it in.
find if I was doing like threshold sessions, interval stuff, if the wrong song came on, it was like it ruined my workout. So I would rather just not have any.
Yeah.
I definitely know that. I've got over it now, but yeah.
Celine
When
Dion.
you're like
Yeah.
3 minutes in, you're like, oh no, you're like smash your thing, like trying to get the next like track on because it's just
recently, to be
some
fair, I've had the
ridiculously
180 beats
slow
per minute
track, yeah.
metronome on, which that is one way to drive yourself mental.
Do you know, I just cracked 2 hours in the half marathon for the first time a week or two ago, and I made myself a playlist for that. So I knew when I got to just before that 2 hours, Psychosocial by Slipknot came on, and I knew once that song come on, that's it, it's go time. And I tell you, I really found that helped me actually, got me right to the end.
We are worlds apart, like, because for me it would be like 5.
Yeah. No. I don't even know how we're friends, to be fair.
I have both.
Don't even know
I
how
have
we're
both
friends.
on my playlist, and that's really not a joke.
No, you just said you had 5 on your playlist. Why would I?
You'd love some of the stuff I've been listening to recently, Freddie.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with everybody get up. I'm not going to have it.
Well, yeah, but then there's 5 and then Trivium.
Oh, I love
like
them.
it goes from
Yeah.
one extreme to, so and five right into 5-finger death
Bucket
punch
list
at the
race,
moment
guys.
as well,
We've asked ourselves this question before,
But, yeah.
and quite often we come up
Anyway,
with
let's
different
not
answers. But
use
are there any bucket list races that you'd like to do? And now, when we say bucket list, we literally mean any race anywhere in the world. Ignore the budgetary cost to get it done. Is there one out there you'd like one day? I would love to do that.
Oh, well, for me, it's UTMB. I want to do. So that's kind of the ultimate. I mean, I'm 40 next year, and I was like, that's my target to do it. But I think it's going to be kind of out of reach because obviously all the stones you've got to get, the races you've got to do. I think more after the points with the stones, you need to obviously go and do the UTMB races to get your stones. So maybe not for next year. But my bucket list constantly changes anyway, so I'm always changing.
I'd like to do the Moab, I think. But I'm really leaning towards more like self-supported challenges. So I know we've been talking about one in April, kind of leading towards. But I like the idea of doing self-supported stuff. Like, I'd love to do John O'Groats to Land's End at some point, but self-supported, not an official race, just like with the lads in a van and just go for it.
Nice. What's that now? That's 800 mile, is it? 900 mile?
It's 870 mile, I think, on the route I had planned. But I need to quit my full-time job before I do that because I can't get that much time off work. 18 days off work's a tall order. And telling them I'm not coming in the following week because I can't walk. Probably not going to go down well.
No. Yeah.
You might be able to, I wouldn't.
I mean, you could crack down a week.
I don't
or
want to
right?
drag it down, but that's
1 week,
that's kind of
and
where
just coming on Tuesday.
I have issue when you see. I won't name any of them because I don't really care for them, but you see a lot of these celebrities that will do these big ultras, and then they're running from here to here over this, over a month or whatever, and you're like, yeah, but they ain't got to get up for work every day like the rest of us. And for me, that don't really count. I'm like, you've got to have a normal job and normal circumstances for that to be really impressive. You know?
Yeah.
I think that guy, Max Jolloff, I think his name is, who just won the Moab this year, he still works full time. He still designs like surf gear and stuff like that. So he still works, which I thought was really impressive.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And they're the sorts of stories that are great to see, aren't they? Amazing.
Just got that. I've literally got that on my playlist to watch this week. The King of
It's a
Moab.
really good watch, to
I
be
haven't
fair.
seen it yet, but I saw his the Beach Kid one, and have you watched that? That's really
Yeah,
good as
I've
well.
watched that.
Yeah, he's really, really interesting. Really interesting.
To be fair, he refers to trail running as dirt surfing, and I'm just definitely stealing that. I was like, I like that one. I'll have that.
I like that. That's clever.
Cool. And if you weren't a runner, and you can't say high rocks. If you weren't a runner and you wanted to commit yourself to another sport, what would that sport be?
I'd go back to playing basketball. I played basketball until I was 18 years old, so I'd probably go back to playing that.
I'd probably I do a bit of surfing. I'm terrible at it, absolutely horrendous. But I do like get out on the sea and flopping about like a whale. But yeah,
Love it. That's cool, guys. Right. And if anyone wants to jump online and find you guys, what's the URL for your website or your Instagram or whatever else, please feel free to share that now, and everyone can find you.
www.heartandsoulracing.com is the website, and heartandsoul_racing
On Instagram.
on Instagram.
Oh, so racing.
Yeah.
Superb. And is there
If
anything
anyone
else
wants
that
to do
we've
it-
not covered? Sorry.
If anyone wants to do that charity link for the challenge I've just done as well, that link's still in my bio on Logan Soulsby Fitness on Instagram, just because I've killed myself this past week and the money's going to a great cause.
To be fair, you have just killed yourself. What was it? 80-odd mile run, 50k row, and then a high rocks.
And then the pro high rocks at the end, yeah.
You've got to beat that next year then. What's next year?
Yeah. But bigger challenge. I've got something in the pipeline I want to do. I've got an idea for April next year.
Something
We'll
you can
have
share?
to come
or-
on again and tell you.
Okay.
So we're planning. Yes.
It's early stages, yes. But
Love it.
try and top it.
Love it. Right, well, listen, it's been great to meet you guys, and thanks for sharing a bit of your story with us. And absolutely, let's get you back on again, especially once we get the closer to August when you're going to have your festival. Let's get you back on and get some updates from you and see how things have been going, and really try and kick it
definitely.
off. But really good to meet you both. Thanks for coming on, and anyone that is at home now listening or watching, thank you very much, and we will catch up with you again soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.